That night, as thunder rolled and the moon turned red, Uluoma rose from the ashes, half girl, half flame, and the whole village learned what it meant to fear the dead. Welcome to Royal Beat Tales. If you are just seeing us for the first time, please subscribe, like, and comment for more unique stories. They said she was born on a night when thunder refused to stop rumbling. 18-year-old Uluoma, the most beautiful girl in Umuokpo village, had eyes that shone like moonlight on a river. Her laughter was soft, her voice calm, and her hair fell long like dark silk. Every man wanted to marry her, and every woman wanted her as a friend. But none stayed long, because those who got too close never lived to tell the story. At first, no one noticed the strange pattern. The hunter who helped her carry firewood dropped dead 2 days later. The young trader who flirted with her by the stream drowned the same evening. People whispered, "Maybe it's coincidence." But soon fear replaced doubt. Whenever she passed, the doors closed. Mothers called their children inside. Even the dogs barked and ran away. Uluoma didn't understand why everyone avoided her. She cried often, asking her mother, "Mama, did I do something wrong?" But her mother, an old widow, could only hold her and say, "My child, some things in this world are deeper than our eyes can see." One evening, as the sun melted behind the hills, Uluoma went to fetch water at the forbidden stream, Mamiri Ik, the Serpent's River. She saw her reflection dancing on the surface, but this time the reflection smiled before she did. That evening, the village went into chaos. Angry villagers took laws into their hands. "Burn the witch's house!" someone shouted. Torches rose, machetes flashed, as they marched toward Uluoma's hut. Flames swallowed the thatched roof in seconds. Her mother screamed out loud inside their hut, "Please, leave us! She's only a child." No one listened. Fear had blinded them all. Uluoma, returning from the stream, froze when she saw the fire. "Mama!" she cried and dashed forward, but the heat pushed her back. She fell to her knees, tears running down her ash-covered face as the fire roared louder than her voice. Her mother's cry faded. Then silence. The smell of burnt palm leaves and sorrow filled the air. Villagers whispered, "It's done. The curse is gone." But deep behind the trees, hidden in the shadows, Uluoma watched. Her fists trembled. Her heart burned colder than the fire. She wiped her tears and whispered, "You killed my mother. Now you will know pain." Before dawn, she disappeared into the deep forest. No one saw her leave. Only the wind followed her footsteps, and the forest swallowed her name. From that night, strange sounds began to echo from the woods, and Umuokpo village would never know peace again. The moon that night grew larger and red, like blood floating in the sky. The air in Umuokpo village felt heavy, so heavy that even the trees refused to move. Crickets had gone silent. The dogs hid under huts, whining softly as if they knew something terrible was about to happen. Since the burning of her mother's hut, Uluoma was never seen in daylight again. But her name became a whisper, carried on the wind like smoke. People said the forest had swallowed her, but others said the forest gave birth to something else, something no longer human. On the first Eek market night after the fire, strange things began to happen. It started when the village night guards heard faint drumming from the market square. They thought it was some drunkards playing late. But as they approached, the sound grew louder. Boom, boom, boom. Though there was no one in sight. The wooden market drums beat on their own. Palm fronds waved though there was no wind. Then a cold voice echoed through the darkness. "Mama, where are you?" The guards froze. One of them, Okiki, whispered, "Did you hear that?" Before the other could reply, a dark figure stepped out of the shadows, tall, glowing faintly like fire covered with mist. Her hair floated in the air, Her eyes glowed red, and her feet didn't touch the ground. It was Uluoma. The men dropped their spears and ran, screaming. But Okiki made the mistake of turning back. The moment his eyes met hers, he let out a terrible cry and fell lifeless to the ground. The next morning, when people found him, his face was twisted in horror, eyes wide open, mouth frozen in a silent scream. From that day, the elders made a rule. No one must come out on Eek night. Weeks later, an old woman named Mama Ifunanya forgot the rule. She had gone to bring back her sheep behind her hut. The night was quiet, too quiet. Then she heard a girl's voice, soft and sorrowful, singing by the forest path. "Mama, if you hear me, answer me. They burned our home. They left me alone." The voice was beautiful yet painful, like it was crying and singing at the same time. Mama Ifunanya's heart melted. She whispered, "That sounds like Uluoma." Against her better judgment, she stepped closer to the sound. There, under the moonlight, she saw a girl in a white wrapper, hair dripping wet as if she had bathed in tears. "Mama," the girl said softly, lifting her face. Before Mama Ifunanya could speak, she saw the girl's reflection behind her, standing upside down in the air. She gasped. The reflection smiled while the real one stared blankly. She screamed aloud. By morning, Mama Ifunanya was found dead by the forest edge, her hands clutching her ears, her lips blackened as if burned from the inside. 3 brave hunters from the neighboring village, Eziyama, came to help. They had heard stories about Uluoma, the spirit girl who killed with her eyes. They carried charms, cowrie shells, and amulets around their necks. When the moon rose, they entered the forest, chanting ancient incantations. The wind grew wild. One of them, Chidozi, saw something glowing between the trees. It was Uluoma, sitting beside her mother's burnt cooking pot. She looked like a human, crying softly, her face pale and beautiful. "Child," one hunter said gently, "we've come to help you find peace." Uluoma raised her head slowly. Her voice came low and calm. "You killed peace when you killed my mother." The hunters began to shake. One raised his gun. But before he could shoot, the ground cracked open and roots shot out, wrapping around his legs. The forest came alive. The second hunter screamed as his torchlight burst into flame and burned his hands. Chidozi dropped to his knees, begging for mercy. Uloma floated above the ground, her form shifting, half girl, half fire, her eyes burning brighter than the moon. "Tell them," she said, her voice echoing like thunder. "Tell them I'm still looking for my mother." Chidozi ran and never looked back. By morning he was found wandering the road, his hair turned white. He could no longer speak, only muttered one word over and over, "Greater than Uluoma." One evening on an Iki market day, a small boy named Ibuka sneaked out to catch fireflies. He didn't know it was dangerous. He followed the lights toward the forest, laughing softly. Then he saw a lady kneeling beside the stream. She was facing the stream, her wrapper torn, her long hair touching the water. Curious, Ibuka whispered, "Auntie, are you lost?" The woman turned. Her face was not a face. It was smoke, eyes burning through it like coal. The fireflies around her died instantly. Ibuka screamed and ran, but his little legs couldn't carry him far. The next morning his mother found him by the stream, alive but blind. His eyes had turned milky white, his lips trembling as he whispered, "She said she's still searching for Mama." From then the villagers knew whoever saw her and lived never remained the same. Terrified, the village elders gathered at the shrine of Amadioha. They confessed to the priest that they had wronged Uluoma and her mother. They begged for a way to end the curse. The priest shook his head slowly. "You cannot kill what you created. The spirit of the innocent does not rest until her tears dry." He told them to bring 7 virgins, 7 white fowls, and 7 calabashes of palm wine to the edge of the forest. They obeyed, trembling. That night they performed the ritual. The air turned cold. The wine began to boil on its own. The fowls cried in strange human voices. Then, out of the darkness, Uluoma appeared again, half woman, half flame. "You think sacrifices will bring her back?" she said, her voice breaking like thunder. "You should have protected her when she was alive." Lightning flashed across the sky. The priest fell face down. The others ran. But one elder, Chief Omenka, stayed frozen in fear. Uluoma stepped close, her hand touching his chest. His heart stopped instantly. He dropped like a log. The villagers carried his body the next morning, his skin blackened, his eyes wide open. They buried him without drums or songs. Every Iki night after that, strange lights were seen moving in the forest. Some said they were fireflies, others said they were Uluoma's eyes. Sometimes people heard her singing softly near the stream, calling for her mother. Farmers who forgot and stayed late in the bush never returned. Traders who tried to sell at night markets found their goods burned by unseen hands. And whenever thunder rolled, children were told to hide, because that was when Uluoma walked the earth again. The people of Umuokpo now live in silence. No one fetches water after sunset. No one crosses the forest path when the moon turns red. And when they hear a woman's soft voice crying, they close their doors, blow out their lamps, and whisper one prayer. "Uluoma, may you find your mother before you find us." One night, as the moon hid behind thick clouds, the air was quiet, too quiet for comfort. In the large mud house of Chief Nana, the eldest man in Umuokpo, the remaining elders gathered, their faces pale with fear and exhaustion. It was an Afar market day. They had not slept for days. The curse of Uluoma had turned their once lively village into a place of endless mourning. Every Eek market day brought death, and even the cocks refused to crow at dawn. Chief Nana's shaky hands poured palm wine into a calabash. "My brothers," he said in a low, tired voice, "we can't live like this. We must find a way. Uluoma's spirit is destroying everything we built." Chief Okorie sighed deeply. "We killed her mother without seeking the gods' counsel. We brought this evil on ourselves. Maybe if we beg—" "Beg who?" Another elder interrupted sharply. "The gods or the girl who no longer lives?" The room fell silent. The only sound was the wind pushing through the cracks of the bamboo walls. The fire in the clay lamp gleamed weakly, its light dancing like a frightened spirit. Then, suddenly, boom! A loud, earth-shaking sound tore through the night. The ground vibrated. Calabashes fell. The flame died instantly. Everyone jumped to their feet. "What was that?" shouted Chief Nana, his voice trembling. Then they heard it, a woman's laughter. Soft at first, then loud, echoing through every corner of the room. It was Uluoma. The elders ran, stumbling over chairs, pushing one another, shouting like frightened goats. Chief Okorie tripped at the doorway, screaming as an unseen force dragged his walking stick away. Outside, the village dogs barked madly. The moon returned, red and full. In its light, they saw a figure floating above the meeting house, half human, half flame, her eyes like burning coal. "Uluoma!" One elder cried, but before his mouth closed, he fell to the ground, stiff and lifeless. The rest scattered into the bush, running without direction, like mad dogs chased by thunder. Some fell into the stream, others vanished into the forest. All night, screams echoed through the hills. By morning, Umuokpo was silent. Smoke rose from broken huts. The market square stood empty, its stalls overturned. Chickens ran loose, goats bleated helplessly, and the village shrine had cracked in two. One by one, families packed their belongings, mats, pots, hose, children on their backs, and began to walk away. No one looked back. Even the strongest men trembled as they walked past the village boundary. "Let's go before night falls," they whispered. "This place no longer belongs to the living." Soon the roads were filled with the sound of footsteps and crying babies. Huts stood empty. The wells dried up. The gods' carvings were left to rot. And by the next moon, Umuokpo had become a ghost village. No smoke, no laughter, no life, only silence, and the sound of the wind carrying one name again and again, Uluoma. They say the forest grew thicker over the years, swallowing every sign that humans once lived there. Now travelers call it Alanjo, the evil land. And when the wind howls at night, villagers from neighboring towns swear they can still hear her voice singing softly through the trees. Till today, no one dares to pass through Umuokpo after dark. They say if you ever hear a girl crying in the forest, don't look, don't answer, just run, because whoever sees her dies. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment for more unique stories.